If you pay attention, you see that it's snowing outside. Also some snow in the car. And we're taking the Abarth 595C. So it also demonstrates that even in the winter you can still enjoy your Abarth experience. The leather will be a little bit more cold. But hey, we are men. We're going to discuss what a hothatch should be. Because there are a lot of hyper hatches, so to say, who are moving more towards an all-road, all-time family car. And that's, in my opinion, not what a hothatch should be. A hothatch should be agile and should give you the impression that you're going faster than you are. So it will be exciting, agile, still capable to haul the family, but it's not like an RS4. And if you look at, for example, the RS3, or in many ways also the AMG A45S and the other A45, they are all-road conquering beasts and also quite heavy. And those qualities make them, in my opinion, moving much more towards RS4, RS6 type of category. And that's not what a hothatch should be. The same with the BMWs that have rear-wheel drive. So, for example, they had the earlier 1 series that were rear-wheel drive, and they were moving quite a lot towards the BMW 3 series. And that is not a bad thing. They will be very capable cars and also quite exciting to drive, because with rear-wheel drive it will be more exciting to drive than with front-wheel drive. But they are also unnecessarily complex and unnecessarily bulky in the weight department. So for a small car they were quite heavy. And that's the same with all-wheel drive type of cars, especially those that have about 400 horsepower. So for example the RS3 that I mentioned, or the A45S. This is also the same, a little bit less, but still the same with the S3 or the Golf R, Audi S3, Golf R. Those are a little bit less powerful, about 310 horsepower, but still all-wheel drive and still quite heavy. So the Civic Type R is in the same bracket, a little bit more horsepower even, but has front-wheel drive, and as a result is a little bit less heavy and also less capable in all road conditions. So a hothatch is, in my opinion, less capable than, for example, an RS4, RS6 on many situations, but it will install pleasure, joy, and lightweight agility. So in the past I also had an Citroën AX GTI. It was about 780 kilograms should be, but we weighed it and it was modified and also stripped. Still had 4 seats and weighed about 720, 730 ish kilograms, and then you have a very fast and agile little car. And it's about half the weight of many a modern hothatch. For example, the Civic Type R, or let alone the RS3. The car that I'm driving now is the Abarth 595C, so it has this convertible roof, as I showed you, but still it weighs just over 1000 kilograms. The other car that I have is a Suzuki Swift Sport, and even though it's a hybrid, it's less than 1000 kilograms. And those are the less Mohicans, so to say, and they give you so much agility and joy. That's something you should always strive for in a hothatch. So less complexity, less weight, more agility, more joy, and they will give you the feeling, also the Abarth, especially with this loud exhaust and this immature handling, it will give you the impression of going really fast, even though you're not going extremely fast. With an RS3 and RS4 you feel like, am I going that fast, because it feels so capable. Same with the Tesla Model S that I had. 500-ish horsepower, all-wheel drive, even in the wet condition it would not slip. because it has all this electric computers and four-wheel drive, and will just manage to generate tremendous amount of grip without breaking a sweat. A hot hatch might be breaking a sweat, and also for you, but this is the excitement that it gives you. So a hot hatch should not be an autobahn stormer, in my opinion, or should not be a car to howl in extreme conditions, snow and extreme rain, and then still go as fast as possible. It might be that some hot hatches are capable of, and especially drivers of hot hatch are oftentimes very good drivers, especially if they had the hot hatch for quite a while. In the early times I could get into a car that's too much for them, and the hot hatch is quite achievable, and that could be the hot hatch in that opinion, in that consideration. But after a while they will get a specific set of skills. And why is that? Because a hot hatch will be the terrier on the leash. It will always try to excite you and to lure you into trying things without breaking the bank. So that's a very nice thing. And also because you have a car that's light and less complex and more focused on driving fun instead of absolute performance, you will keep the range of parts and maintenance, but also taxes and fuel consumption within a reasonable budget. But therefore it's also such a pity that the hot hatches are being exterminated. It's because of the rules on fuel consumption, but also electricity, because electric hot hatches will still weigh quite a lot. There is an A segment type of hot hatch now electric. This is the Abarth. The same they have a B segment hot hatch also with the Mini Cooper electric, Cooper S electric, and they both weigh about 1300 kilograms. So that's one segment higher, for example, Golf GTI type of weight, and they still have, especially the Mini has quite a limited range. And if you compare then the reasonable range, which is a little bit higher, of the Abarth 500 electric, then you see that you get a car that weighs about 2 segments more. That narrows it down. To take things into consideration, you get a car with about 30% lighter, or the other way around, the electric version is 30% more bulky, heavier than this Abarth is, this non-electric Abarth. So you have to pay quite a lot in agility. And if you look at what I'm doing with my cars, I often try to reduce the weight a little bit. For example, I get a A-B exhaust system from Japan because it weighs 6 kilograms less. And if you look at that philosophy, you will stay within the realm of the hot hatch. Will it make it an absolute beast under every weather condition? It's snowing now. No. But will it make it more fun? Especially when you're driving on a B road, country road? Yes, it will. But you might not find this out or really enjoy this if you're not driving it through the 810, 910, 1010. And you might not be able to, because those are public roads, and oftentimes, of course, an hot hatch is not going that fast, but it can still go quite rapidly. So it will not be in the scope. But if you do so, you will really enjoy a very nice experience. It's an experience, and in my opinion, you want something that's not boring, and that's what a hot hatch will offer you. It will offer you a non-boring experience. And they mention hyper hatches. Oftentimes those hyper hatches are towards the RS4, RS6 type of performance range. Oftentimes all-wheel drive, and horsepower about 400 horsepower, or at least over 300. And those cars are very cool, but they are not as much in the hot hatch spirit. And why is that? Because they are very powerful. They are for absolute performance. That's not so much what a hot hatch is about. They are a lot less accessible because they're extremely costly, especially in the Netherlands, because we have this additional taxes if you're consuming some fuel That's more than the minimum. The other thing is that they are not introducing that smile factor that much because they are so capable. So you will be driving, for example, 150 kilometers an hour and it feels like 120. It's because they are so capable on all-wheel drive, always traction. With a hot hatch, a capable hot hatch, it still might feel that when you're driving 150 it feels like 140, but that's quite a big difference. That's about 16 to 80% difference in the things that you experience. And also a hot hatch should be the working class hero for everyone, almost accessible if they are putting away some savings. And some people will argue with me and they say, yeah, with savings, putting away, I was also able to afford a iPad. Good for you, good for you. But many people will not be able to do this. And with a hot hatch in my opinion should be preferably below 30,000 euros. And those are very limited because there are so little players that are in that bracket. If I just take them from the top of my head, Abarth is no longer there because they are above 30,000 euros. Also the Polo is no longer there, the Fiesta is no longer there, Fiesta will be phased out. So you need to get into that type of performance, you need to look at the VW Up GTI, which is not a proper hot hatch because it doesn't have hot hatch seats, it doesn't have disc brakes all around, only at the front. Yeah, and all those things. Also the engine is not that spectacular. You need to have a Suzuki Swift Sports, and that's the only one that's below the 30,000 euro bracket at this moment, which is insane. It's also the lightest hot hatch you can get in the B segment. So that's also the reason why I have a Suzuki Swift Sport hybrid. And even though it's a hybrid, it will be a little bit less fuel consumption, thereby dropping the price a little bit because the additional taxes will not apply as much. And on the other hand, it will save you some fuel, but it still stays below the 1,000 kilograms, 995 kilograms, 995 kilograms. And with AKS exhaust, you can shave off 6 additional kilograms, 989 kilograms. And with some other modifications you might be able to drop it to 950 kilograms and still have a quite functional hot hatch. So that's something to consider. I'm not going to because I like to keep all the seats. You still have 5 seats in the Suzuki Swift Sport. But there is an option. If you want to go the Club Sport package and remove the back seat and so do some other things to remove, and also some sound deadening, you will be able to drop those figures tremendously again. And it might not be an absolute decrease in weight to a high degree, but it will be in relative sense because it's a very light car to begin with. Well, hope this rant helped. Hope you will have a lot of hot hatch years to come. If you are the owner of a hot hatch, try to hang on to it because it's a dying breed, and enjoy what you can. Found A-B Qcar out.